enough is enough. Enough of the same game already. It's time to get some new ideas into this genre. And if somebody was going to do it, it should be EverQuest. Point right now where we're building something that's both heroic and social. We've taken everything we know about games and MMOs in general, and we're fusing the best parts into an original shape, well, that we hope will create triumph and passion in the gamers that play it. See, we were serious about it being a sandbox game.
Well, good afternoon or evening or super late night, midnight, depending on where you are. Welcome to the EverCast Show, episode 9, Only Human. Of course, as always, I'm Chewina, and I'm joined by the gang. Say hello, everybody.
Hey, everyone.
Hi.
Hi.
As you can see, we've revamped a couple things. Sam's about to talk about that in a second, but real quick, I just wanted to go over what we're going to be discussing tonight. First off, we're going to be talking about Landmark and the tools that have been shown recently. We're going to be diving into the UI and what kind of tools that are there. Then we're going to be talking about, Roundtable 15, how we want to consume lore. There's a lot of really cool tidbits there that we'd like to discuss with you. EQN 4 classes revealed, beta release, and only humans at launch. All this on tonight's EverCast Show. So, who's ready? Let's go and turn it over to Tanlin. Take it away with our ECAST news.
Well, good evening, everybody. ECAST news. Obviously, 2 weeks ago, we did not have a show. There were some real life sickness and issues that came up that caused us to miss the show. The good news is that over the time, extra time off allowed us to really focus in, and we redid the layout. We redid a whole bunch of things, and so we think that the show should be better than it's ever been before. Let's see. We are going to have a show on December 15th. That will be our next one. But due to the holidays, we are not going to have a show on December 29th. That would be our next show after the 15th. We might do a 30-minute shoutcast on the 29th. We're not really sure about that. But just, enjoy the holidays with your friends and family and be ready to come back to EverQuest in January. Item number 2 is that we have a brand new Facebook page. If you follow our Twitter account, and I'm sure that somebody will post it in the Twitch channel, go ahead, like the Twitch page, and we are hoping that Facebook page creates another avenue for us to have a dialogue about EverQuest and the show. Well, last thing, and it's the unfortunate thing, because there is now a beta news, there's beta out there, and they went on the live stream and they said that there will be an NDA, definitely on the alpha, possibly on the beta. Just want to let you know that here at the EverCast Show, we are totally going to respect that NDA. We won't be discussing anything that is behind that non-disclosure agreement. So that is it for the EverCast news. Of course, as always, if you want to be on the show as a special guest, you can email us at evercast.show@gmail.com. If you have any projects or art that you want to have our audience see, we would love to have it. Again, email it to us. We would love to hear from you. So what's the
That's what I
the
call
first?
some news.
Did I talk too fast? So hey guys, how are you guys?
Good. Well, Flatus, where have you
Hi.
been, man? Welcome. Welcome
Well,
back. You grew a beard.
listen.
Fluffy looking beard.
Thank you. Listen. I went and I killed a dragon, and then 2 drops of whiskey hit my face, and I willed this manly beard into. Cal was raising. Yes. It's like nothing. He's like that. There's so much manliness came out. Like even Cal's like, I got 20% manlier hearing that.
Whiskey and dragon's blood. Okay,
I did.
that's what I need.
I don't need it though.
So yeah, I've been gone, but I'll talk to you guys in the after show. We got a
Awesome.
good show ahead.
Yeah, glad to have you back, man. Definitely.
Thanks, guys.
So I guess we'll turn it over to Carl Boer with our first topic tonight: tools and landmark.
Yeah, we will be talking about tools. I think we have a video planned first, right, Tenlin, to give people a little bit of an introduction on it?
We do. It's going to be from the live stream that the SOE employees did right after the beta announcement. I'm going to go ahead and play that for us.
Which is a run through of what the tools are like and what they can do. So Eric is going to start with the most basic of the tools. This is a voxel-based game, so you would pretty much expect that you'd be able to stack voxels on top of each other, which you can absolutely do. And that's what Eric is showing right now. Now, because our game is different, we're able to change the voxel brush size, so we can add all kinds of crazy little detail by just using the mouse wheel to scroll up and down and be able to change the voxel brush size. It's very, very simple. You get used to it really easily, and you can set up all kinds of detail. And then, of course, there's another brush. If you notice, there's a hotbar on the bottom of the screen there. Those are just simple numbers, 1 through 7. The one on the end doesn't count, it's temporary. The number 3 tool there is the delete tool. So it's just like the voxel tool, but you can delete shapes of different sizes. So that's what Eric is showing right now. Sorry, Mr. Smith.
The mysterious Mr. Smith.
And you can, of course, delete terrain and stuff too, but deleting terrain does not always do wonderful things for you, because it can be really hard to put back together, because matching the slope and everything like that is difficult if you're just laying down blocks. So we have a heal brush, which is kind of like well, basically, it restores the game back to the way that the server knew it was before you started messing around and making changes. So as you move this brush around through the world, you're healing it. Even the blocks that he placed get restored back to the way they were before you touched anything. And then the tool after that, number 5 there, is the smoothing tool. Now you can flip really easily between block or sphere brushes by just hitting a simple key, but once you have that, then you can deform the vertices on the flies and actually round out the edges, make things look eroded or perfectly round, and it's very, very simple, very easy to use. And we also have undo and copy and paste and everything like that, and we'll get into that in a little bit. But first we wanted to show you the second to the last tool, which is the painting tool, which is extremely useful. A lot of times when you make an object, like for instance, when you first start the game, you might want to build stuff out of common stone because it's really, really easy to get. But what you really wanted was a diamond pillar. So what you could do is you could build it out of stone real quick, and then you can come back with the paintbrush later on. And by using the paintbrush, you're actually swapping out the materials that the voxels are made out of. So you're not just painting on the surface, you're actually transforming those volumes of areas into other materials. Now you have to have gathered them, and that's why you might basically build it out of stone first and then swap it out for diamond later after you gathered it or bought diamond from other players. But this is the way you can do things. And then last but not least.
All right, and that was Dave Georgeson doing a brief overview of the different tools that they showcased on their live tweet or their live stream.
I always get turned on when Dave Georgeson says that you can deform vertices on the fly, real time. I don't know, something about that sentence right there. Whenever I hear it come out of his voice.
How many of the
I'm not ashamed to admit.
6,000
There's this really cool
people that
tool
were
called
watching at the time actually understood that though?
God,
I want that on a
beautiful.
bumper sticker for my car. Deformed vertices on the fly.
So Carl.
Yeah, I just quickly want to the video explained it pretty well, but before we start, I quickly want to give a quick overview of what are the tools that we know about. So we can place voxels of various shapes. We can remove them of various shapes. We can heal the surface, which will basically revert it back to the state it was in. We can smooth an area with various levels. We can paint. We have a line tool which will connect to. Well, hang on. Let me say this correct. Which will create a connection between any two polygons, and we can create selections. We have undo, copy, and paste. Well, that is pretty much it. Tenlink, can you queue up the first image? When I was watching at the live stream, a few things like got my attention. And I think that kind of shows like why I'm so excited for Landmark and why building in Landmarks is gonna give us so much freedom. I want to start with some interesting shapes. During the live stream, they featured one of the, well, how should we call it? The mech.
The mecha.
So if you look at the toppest zoomed in image, you see small holes, and there's a light effect created after that, which basically gives it a little bit like the first time I saw it on the actual picture that got tweeted later, to me it looked like there was actually a piece of how do you say, texture behind the surface itself. But I went over the footage and I saw that there was actually just, I think it's lava that's actually flowing behind it.
Yeah.
The picture below that, you see a pretty interesting shape that is actually more round. So it's a triangle that is, I think, rounded out, but that should give a pretty good indication of like how creative you can get with even the tools we know about at this point. And the last one is more of a rounded organic shape that will give us quite a bit of freedom as well. If we go to the complex shape image, then what really got me excited is that you're not only building with cubes, but if you remove pieces, you actually can get quite a bit of detail done. I'm really curious to see how precise this is. Like, can we actually create really basic shapes and such?
Yeah.
And here's something that like maybe we can talk about a little bit, guys. The smallest voxel. Were you disappointed by that? Were you? Because I think the smallest voxel would be half of this, right?
As they jokingly referred to it in the stream. I was a little disappointed with the size of the TED. I thought, I think that's one of the advantages of where you take the voxel technology they have, and then they have the Player Studio technology. And I don't know exactly how complicated it is to create an object and then have it imported into the game. But I'm imagining that if you have really cool props that are smaller than a TED or more complicated, then you could go to the Player Studio and make it yourself, or have it, have somebody make it and then use it in the game that way.
See, that interests me too, because Second Life, you could get a prim really, really small, so you can make like guns and you can make all kinds of objects. You can't really do that with the voxels, it seems, because the TED is the size of the foot, right? Or you can make a giant one, let me put it that way.
It's more like the size of the hat if you look at the picture next to it. But here's my thought: if you like, okay, so if that's the smallest voxel, if you look at the shape where the stuff is removed, that is not anywhere near the smallest voxel. So would that mean that you can delete that part out? It would, right?
You mean you can make the vertices smaller on an already placed voxel, you mean?
Because like the block is the base voxel, but you can remove the part in that, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what I'm wondering, right? Because otherwise, half of what we see built is never possible.
Yeah.
So far, what we've seen so far.
That's weird. You're right.
So that confused me a little bit, and I think it just means that that's the base voxel size that you can place when you're actually working, and then you go back later with, for example, in this case, the rounded deletion tool, and then do stuff with that. You're muted, Tenlin.
Oh no.
Oh my god.
Everyone take a shot. Take it up.
There we go.
Shot number 1.
All right. Well then, forget this.
Drink some eggnog.
So
Yeah, you need to start fresh, man.
get on my horse and start riding again.
Tweet it out.
So the question is that are we going to see different size shapes of the brushes, specifically the delete brush and the heal brush? Because when we saw the stream, he showed a square shaped delete and then a round shaped heal. And if you take the different sizes if you take the smallest size TED and you allow me to chip away with it using other tools, I'm sure that I could create a very unique, smaller object than just the square block if I'm able to delete or heal it with the different brush. That's all I was saying while I was muted.
I do quickly want to quote Pentapod, who said something important in chat. She's one of the... Oh, wow.
She's a producer?
Producer, yes, thank you, chat.
Producer. Woo.
We're actually still playing around with what will be the smallest size voxel possible. We've tried at least 3 different sizes so far, but there will at least be a minimum size, which is obviously very...
Yeah. Well, that was the whole thing that they were talking about at SOE Live, was the fact that as the engine technology has gotten better, they've been able to make smaller and smaller and smaller voxels. Then the smoothing came in on top of it. Before, it was just like kind of a Minecraft EverQuest, I guess, a little bit. But they've really been able to push the technology, and I'm sure they'll be able to push it farther. Hopefully. But honestly, it's looking pretty dang good as it is. I think my biggest complaint so far isn't really on the tools, but on the textures. The textures seem really low res in some instances, and I don't know if that's just due to the developmental cycle. Like, I know a lot of the times earlier builds will have lower, like they usually make the lower res textures first. But I wasn't
It's
sure.
hard to see in a live stream, though. Like, I don't know. And for example, the grass texture actually quite amazed me, to be honest. Where they had one point in the live stream where they were painting grass over a block, and it was almost like the leaves were hanging over the block. If you can go back to the image for a bit, Tenlin, please.
Yeah, I remember that looked really good. It's just like when it gets stretched out, like the shape is really long, and then I guess the texture doesn't repeat itself; it just kind of stretches it out instead. But then again, I don't know what you do in that situation.
Another really exciting thing for me was the line tool. Oh, I'm sorry, Tenlin. Can you go back one? Yeah. Oh, you already have it. Stream delay. So annoying at times. So the woes of a streamer. In the video, you see so well like all the different points you can snap to, and the freedom that gives. Like, I'd be amazed like if there's any shape I can think of that I cannot make with just that tool. Queue up the next one.
There you go.
And last but not least are the selections. Now, this is kind of interesting because, like, if you saw in the live stream how he was making the stairs,
yeah,
like doing that looked really, really fast, and it is really, really fast. But like, you can just and we saw that the week after when the timeline videos came out as well, where they just indented the wall, pushed it back.
Because you have copy, you have paste, you have all those tools which are available to you.
It's like for people who are used to like 3D modeling with primitives, it feels very similar to me with this selection tool, which is
it definitely does. The only thing that worries me is there's no grid. It seems like nothing at all. So it's gonna be really hard to actually make things scale properly and make them.
That would I mean, if I like, it would be really nice if you could, for example, have the selection tool and then just type in numbers of like the sizes you want, for example, or have a grid, or like have snap points, stuff like that. But I'm guessing that's something that we can kind of hope for in the future. Like, or maybe it's in already and they haven't showed it yet. I mean,
Right.
that's
Like
very-
maybe, yeah. I mean, maybe you
Some
can just
sort
define
of-
the brush size by digits or something like that, and that'd be
So-
really nice.
some sort of measurement tools, some
Yeah.
surveying. That way you're not eyeballing all your measurements or trying to get something on center if you're trying to center it.
well,
But I do
like
assure you, I don't know, straight up, there will be like rulers for sale on the marketplace day
I
one
mean-
that someone will make out of voxels and put up there.
someone points out like it's for a casual audience. That's true, but there are a lot of casuals out there that are quite OCD about having
Yeah,
something
exactly.
directly in the center. So I think
Grids
that's
make it easier.
that's gonna be something though. Like
Yeah,
if I'm
I've
building something and it's not directly in the center, I don't care how many times I need to rebuild it. It's gonna be perfectly in the center.
I was on a Minecraft server, and they were building scale models of the pyramids of Giza, and they were from where because they were plotted everything out, and they noticed that it was going to hit something else they had built in the same general area, so they took down the whole thing and moved it over one block. That's how anal they were about it.
Wow.
Yeah, so
Yeah. See, that'll be nice because you can just pick up your whole build with the selection tool and then just move it. And
they didn't.
landmark.
Yeah, they didn't
You
use
don't have to
any.
delete anything.
They didn't use any mods or anything either. So they just went one block back down and moved everything over and had to rebuild everything.
Wow.
Yeah, it was not fun times.
Yeah, but I mean, the tools are beautiful. They seem really simple. I love the fact that, when you place an object, it has a little particle effect, like it's actually in the world. It's not just something that, like, you're building it out of the world. You have the big rotating arrows that pop up as you're rotating a tree. Those look really pretty. I like that they have depth to them, like they're actually part of the world. And I'm really interested to see more. I mean, all we've seen is like the basic building tools now. These are basic voxel things, placing objects and moving things. But if this is really going to become a make-your-own MMO game, then eventually we'll start seeing AI tools and all kinds of stuff. And I'm really excited.
Mm-hmm. So, before we end this topic, though, I want to show the live stream, or not live stream, but the time lapse that they did with the tree.
That one is
fort
awesome.
looking,
That's the
because
best time lapse they've done so far.
Exactly. If they're sharing those tools with us, and this is what they're able to make, I just the imagination just goes wow, and I'm it's like, give me this now because I want to start using it. So bear with me. It's only a minute long video.
Sony.
Just incredible. Pentapod tweeted out that the water wheel that is at the bottom of that treehouse actually moves. And I think that's if this is what we can expect to be able to make with the tools, it's pretty amazing.
It is pretty amazing. And, honestly, just from, like, the PR advertising point of view, it seems to have been the best well-presented time-lapse video. The others were just such rough cuts, and I don't know, there was no music, there was nothing. It wasn't as exciting. So adding the music, adding, the before shot of what they're trying to make and not just going off the fly, that was really cool too. Because it's such an organic structure in the concept art, and that's what they were really trying to prove, is that you can make something look so organic. I think they did a really good job. I mean, if you really nitpick, the house isn't tilted like it's supposed to be or something like that. But honestly, it's so pretty, and I can't wait to see water. They haven't gotten water done yet to a point where we can see it, but I really want to see. Going back to what we talked about before, what is it physically based? What does it look like? That's one thing, like lava, right? So we've seen lava move before, but we've also seen them place lava blocks that don't move. Is there a way to trigger the animation, or is it once you collect it, it doesn't move anymore? That's something we don't know.
There is a time lapse where they built the volcano landscape, which shows them, I think, putting lava down and then making sort of cracks. We don't have that queued up.
I don't think it had movement.
But it's not moving.
I will post a link in chat and people can look for themselves and make up their own conclusions.
Yeah.
I have the video ready to go.
Show the video.
Okay. So here they are building the lava. We don't see anything moving so far, but it is a pretty neat palette of brushes that they're able to use that show the cracked surface.
No, but you see them putting down cracks. So
and
if you're just talking about animations and lighting, then I misunderstood. But what I found interesting is that apparently there's a different painting for actually making that cracked surface.
Yeah, that's what I mean. But you see the lava isn't moving at all underneath it.
Right.
No, but if water isn't done, then lava isn't done as well.
I'm just wondering if there's going to be a way where I can trigger it from being actually moving or animated to not animated, stuff like that. But I guess time will tell.
I could see why you'd want that, especially if you're trying to get a certain aspect. Like, hey, I want this to glow with lava. I don't want the lava to move behind it. I want a lava waterfall to the side of my house, but I want these cutouts to have this lava glow when I put a frame, a glass frame in front of it. Like if you're building a giant skull, I would say, you would have glowy eyes and then lava pouring out of the mouth. Just in my mind, that's how I would build a giant skull. Just glowing eyes. So you can see it at night and people know, don't go there, that's Flatus's house. He's got a beard now.
He's hardcore.
He's hardcore. Beard. He's got a skull.
A skull with lava.
That's it, with lava.
Indiana Jones.
Kalima! Kalima!
Right.
But yeah, awesome reveal. I'm so glad we finally got some information there. And I can't wait to see more.
Okay. Does that mean we're ready to move on to our next topic?
I mean, unless anyone has any last points.
No, because the next one is equally exciting because this is the...
Oh my god, isn't it?
The EQ magazine, or PC Gamer magazine in the UK revealed 3 or 4, depending on how you look at it, new classes.
3. We knew about Tempest, right?
Yeah, we did. We saw a video of the gameplay
so.
at SOA Live. They said new, so it knew.
They lied. So we have a Beast Lord, right? They're coming right out and saying that. EverQuest 2 is 5 years, no, there's no such thing as Beast Lord. But they know that people want their Beast Lord, apparently.
Which of these 4 are you most excited about?
Honestly, probably the Tempest, because it's not something that we've seen really before. Because we've seen a Beast Tamer type class, and we've seen the Necromancer class, and we've seen the Cleric class. Those are pretty standard in every MMO game. But I haven't really seen the Tempest before, and so...
I like their description of it, too. That's the one, if you're a fan of action RPGs, this is the one you want to play.
Yeah. That's going to be interesting.
Hack and slash.
So what's your least favorite of this, the description?
I think Kai has
Necromancer.
Necromancer?
Yeah. But that's mostly based on every game that had that class.
Yeah.
Wasn't
it's
really
not
my
about
thing.
an undead horde this time.
And the other thing is I know no Holy Trinity and shit, but I really hope that my cleric at least has some sort of mini heal type thing, because a cleric without heals is just gonna make me sad.
I hate that.
It's just I need to get used to it, but
the fire thing gets me.
Exactly.
I would like it to be at least holy fire.
Well, I mean,
holy people did purge people through fire.
It's true.
Maybe it's
Yeah.
more
Oh my
historically
gosh.
accurate.
Listen,
Sorry.
if it's just regular fire, it doesn't count as cleric holy fire, right? It
True,
needs to have a little of this going. Cover it with some holiness.
I think it's cool though. I think it's gonna go for sort of the damage over time, or as you damage, you heal your group kind of thing. So maybe an AOE heal depending on how much damage you can do. So you're constantly fighting.
I would love that, since I always loved the Blood Mage.
Yeah, right.
Give me a healer which can do damage, even that does healing based on damage. I'm fine with. I don't care if that's 40 DPS if it's multiplied or something like that, but just the aspect of that, and the reasoning behind that is it alters the dynamic of how you essentially heal, because for example you need line of sight with the thing you're hitting instead of line of sight with the person you're healing, and that changes things completely. Although I'm quite convinced that the entire combat system of EQN is just too premature to actually talk about if
I know,
stuff like that is
yeah.
actually possible. So
Exactly. And if I was going to make any, this is my opinion, and that is I play a holy paladin in WoW. Shh, don't tell anyone. But one of my complaints is that you're wearing all of this plate armor, heavy armor. You've got a shield, and you stand as far as away as you can, and you cast heals, and you're like, don't get near me, don't get near me. And in my mind, that is the exact opposite of what a paladin should do. Even if they're a holy or support type class, they should... I'm wearing all this heavy armor for a reason. I have the shield on my arm for a reason. It's to protect me so that I can get close. Otherwise, I can do all these other things. And so that's, that would be my only thing. Go ahead.
I was just... Go ahead. Ladies first.
I'm so sorry. Thank you. So God, the whole fire thing with my priest, really makes me angry. I don't know. It's what I'm sorry for the echo. Tamlin and I are actually both casting from the same room. So that could be part of it, maybe. But the fire with the priest, something awesome.
It's a big change. No, you're right, because cleric, I was a
like
cleric in EQ1. I had friends, I didn't really play cleric too much in EQ2, but it was always sort of that holy healer who wore the plate and almost like a crusader kind of healer, paladin reference. It's very different. It is very different. Why didn't they just stick to a normal cleric and maybe make another class that use fire as healing? That would be fine.
See, the thing is, it's a write-ups. I don't know for sure if they copy this off something. That the power of fire could be holy fire for all we know. Maybe they just left off the holy. I mean, we don't know for sure, and it's based off new gods or reworked gods, so it could play into it as well. How deep into lore they get these characters in.
And it has to do with the other abilities. Judging it by, it's fire-based doesn't really mean anything about the class. We don't know what 4 class abilities it has or whatever, or how it really plays. So
It's also important pointing out that there are roughly 40 classes, meaning there's plenty of possibilities to have stuff. So it's if it's not a cleric, it might be another name.
A Templar.
Yeah. Okay. How many similar
cleric, Templar,
a purifier,
paladin?
Listen, no, a purifier sounds like someone with fire. Oh, come on.
Yeah, that's when I read this description, I was like, "Well, no, that's not a cleric. It's a purifier."
Yeah.
Listen, I want to see a witch hunter. Just give me a guy that has a crossbow.
Hey, if they're gonna have witch hunters, then they kind of have to have the handheld crossbow too, right?
I am totally fine with witch hunter, but really, if you are gonna be called Flatus Helsing, I'm gonna come down there and hunt you down, because that's just no. I don't want to see Flatus Helsing in EQ Next.
Yes, you do.
No, I don't.
Listen. Right now, everybody go to Twitter and hashtag Flatus Helsing right now. Just give me a wall of Flatus
No, guys,
Helsing.
don't do it. Please don't tweet Flatus Helsing.
Wearing a fedora. Wearing a fedora.
No fedoras.
Well, I think this ties into our next topic. Classes and lore right now. We recently had the new new Roundtable. I think it's number 15. It discusses consuming lore. Quick summary, they went over how you like to consume your lore, whether it's in-game, out-of-game, but then they dropped a lot of really cool things. Said the fiction program's doing really good. We had an interview with Robert Last, an amazing guy. We'll try and touch base with him again soon. I think that would be a good idea. But also, lore books are back. Yay. Have you guys ever read lore books in any games? Are you not big readers when it comes in game?
Dragon Age, I guess,
Okay.
the ones in game.
I read the Arthas book for World of Warcraft, but I did that on a couple of different reasons, because I also played the RTS Warcraft where Arthas first made his appearance, and the story is almost identical up until a certain point, and then the RTS stops, and then the MMO goes on. And unfortunately, it was awful and horribly written, and so I haven't really picked up any more of Blizzard lore since then, and I just appreciate it in the game.
I like the books to be juicy. Nothing that doesn't have the lore that's available elsewhere. But, like someone put recipes in the chat, little tidbits and fun things. Don't make us read 200 pages in a game book. That's completely boring. Like, it's the wrong medium in a video game.
Unless it has like a little button that you can click, and one of the developers that like doesn't have enough work reads it out for you. Like, we all know they don't have enough work, right?
Like someone pointed out earlier, Trendin and Flatus would love to do voiceovers for EverQuest Next. So if you need somebody to read books, we'll be gladly to lend our voices.
No, I'm okay with reading. I'm just, I don't know. I just got kind of burnt on that.
No, but like on a serious note though, like how awesome would it be if you say you're questing or grinding or you're minding your own business? Like how often like in-game music after a month or so it gets kind of boring, right? So like what if you could actually queue up something like that, like have a story told to you while you're doing something else? Like
that would be really
I'd
cool.
love that.
Yeah, and players make books, right? That has to be in.
Yeah, someone in pointed that out. I mean, it was in EverQuest 1, it is in EverQuest 2.
Exactly.
It doesn't have to be in at launch. I mean, they have enough on their plate, but it has to be in at some point.
I mean, that's just a feature. That has nothing to do with lore, guys. At that point, just put the feature in the game. Let us do it.
I would like the Elder Scrolls sort of, like you could pick up a book and learn a skill or learn one of the classes that way. Like you happen upon finding a book and you can learn a class that way. That'd be kind of neat. Like that's something where you're like,
no,
that's something where
books,
it's
but
like
I opened every single one.
Yeah, see, like you just and then you never know.
Yeah, it was a little extra exploring thing.
Right. If they put a class that you could learn inside of a book, almost everybody would read every book they ever came upon from then on out.
That makes exploring the world, infinite. You want to go out there and explore, and that's really what they're trying to do.
That would be like one of those ultimate breadcrumbs out there. Hey, there's a class that you can learn from a book. We're not going to tell you where that book is. Go search. Go read.
Go read.
Yeah, it's like their philosophy isn't we're gonna give you the story in a spoon and you're just gonna take it. It's more like you can choose what you want to consume and you can choose how far you want to go. They said the lore is gonna play in with the AI. So if you see a mob attacking, what if you just kill the mob? Well, you're obviously not going to find anything out if you just kill them, but maybe you sneak and follow them back to their camp and stuff like that. Like it's visual clues is basically what it's going to be, not just dialogue, not just text written down, but you'll actually be able to see what the NPCs are doing and create the lore on the fly. Emergent questing. I think that's the coolest thing ever. Emergent questing. Stuff that's not even planned, that happens because the NPCs and the quest is created. So that'll be really cool to see. I don't know. I think that's really the number one thing that I'm looking forward to with EQN is the way they're going to present the story. You can walk in, see the emotions on the character's face, see something's wrong. Maybe they don't even tell you anything's wrong at all, but you just see something's wrong, so you go to talk to them, you learn their story. Then you go out in the woods, you hunt down the villain. Or you don't hunt down the villain, maybe you join the villain, and then maybe the people in the town start hating you and send, their NPC guards after you. These are completely possible.
You learn by interacting with one of the NPCs that they can be exploited, and so you're like, I'm totally gonna go go join the bad guys and learn how to exploit these people.
Right. Smedley had a post, oh god, it was years and years ago, about the next EverQuest, and it was like, it should be the player who creates the story. A player should be able to get an all-powerful spell and become this, evil wizard if he wants to. And, that's probably not going to happen to that point, but that seems to be the route they're going as far as the players really drive the story.
Yeah. That, and like in the recent, like, I know Tana was mentioning the Warcraft books, and I can say in the recent Warcraft books, they always kind of mention like the unnamed hero, or the heroes are here, and it's supposed to be you. It's like that's how they put you in that role. But I'd rather play a game where I actually create that story for myself versus a game that's scripted out for me. Because then I know then everybody else gets the same story, where if I live in a world where I can create things where I can go and do something, and then Tanlin goes out and does the complete opposite, well, the effects will actually happen in the world, and I dig that.
Yeah.
I agree. I think that the different quests should be different paths depending on how you want to play, and not that there is one set path and every single player is on that same path and we all end up in the same places at the same time doing the same things. But
true. And how's it going to work? Is it faction based? They said the game remembers everything you do, so do I just like lose faction with a certain cast or something? But then what if I want to go with a friend and do something? Zoran brings that up a little bit in chat. Do I have to grind reputation, or do I have to maybe just do something to get on their good side, or do I have to avoid them? Is there a way for me to sort of switch my class and become good, sort of thing? Or is that a trait that I'm going to have to live with? Is that my life a consequence? I don't know.
I think that the way nothing would be permanent. It's just a matter of how difficult it is to overcome it. And because of that, I think that they're, hey, if I do this, bad thing over here, maybe I have to do 1,000 good things over on this end to counteract it, and so they can make it a life of consequence that way, in that, hey,
and make it challenging, but make it accessible to a point.
Right.
I mean, I think that's good. Constantly, I think most of us agree we want a hard game to a point. We don't want a game where everything's just handed to you or it's just all fluff. If we make a decision, we really want it to affect us, for the good or the bad. I'm sure later we'll whine about it, but for now, we like it. We were talking about that earlier, how people are already starting to voice their complaints quite exuberantly. It's crazy. I don't know.
Yeah, that's why people play games, right? We're here to complain.
Exactly.
Right?
That's
what gamers do.
I think when the game comes out, we'll have a little soapbox segment where we can all get on our soapbox and, and rant a little bit.
We already have a name as well. It's called EverRage. As soon as the game launches, we will call it EverRage, and it will be me standing on a soapbox, Axial standing on a soapbox, and I'll
Flash lava manly beard with his lava castle in the back.
I'll look up random rage posts from Reddit and forums, and I'll pretend that I'm really mad about them.
Yeah, just pretend.
I'm gonna cancel my subscription right now.
It's all about the troll.
If you cancel your subscription on a free-to-play game, I'm done. Free-to-play, and I canceled my subscription.
Oh man,
take that.
Oh, and Pentapod is crashing in on the with the business side of things, and I've always, there's always the development, and then there's always the business, and that's like if you get a voice actor and they're part of the Screen Actors Guild, and then all of those all of those union rules are now in effect. And as I'm going through the process of unionizing at my work, I understand.
Listen, I ain't part of no Screen Actors. I'm not part of any of that nonsense. So if you want to hire Flatus, DM me at Twitter. In fact, if you want to hire any of us.
Well, I mean, they had Christopher Lee for EverQuest 2? Like that, so that's a big name right there. I'm sure they paid out the buttload.
I know. How much did it cost to get Count Dooku?
Yeah, right.
That's the one
thing about voice acting.
On a related note.
On a completely related note, Tamlin speaks a little bit of German.
Yeah.
Wow, thanks, babe.
No. Hey, I was talking before the stream went live, and that's one of the things that we want to do, and not next year, but maybe in 2015 or 2016, that Kai and I would like to visit Germany. And one of the things that I would like to be able to do while I'm in Germany is speak the language. So yes, I am in the process of learning the language through Duolingo.
It's not. It's not.
Duolingo's a great site.
Right.
It's not
so,
every
Thanks
day.
all the time.
It's not every day where you can get a German pun in. So I will take this one. Kyla's got D9'd.
Oh
It
wow!
was just so bad.
Can I mute like one person?
Man. That was ridiculous. Thank you, Platus.
Not a problem. It's such a bad joke, but I had to get it out of my system.
So anyway, Kailas, you were saying about the German, me learning it.
So I was gonna say that if they need like brass somehow needs like a little sister cousin distant relative named Copper, I could try to pull off a Scottish accent. And I speak Latin.
So, can I try something? Because I think I actually speak a little bit of German. I have a horrible German accent. Let's give this a go then. When Sie nach Deutschland kommen, Tanlin, kom besuchen mich der Niederlanden. That was almost okay, I guess. I think all the Germans are sleeping at the moment though, because it's like almost 5 a.m. for
I'd imagine most,
for them.
yeah.
So I'm pretty sure I'm the only crazy European still awake.
I can say things like the boys eat fruit.
Really?
Let's hear it.
Yeah.
Jungen essen Obst or something.
Yes, the Jungen essen Obst. Nice.
Ich bin ein Bär. I think that was I am a bear. Not really, but
Be careful. Be careful
You can
where
now be
you're
Platus,
saying
all
that.
right.
Couldn't we just keep it, simple? Guten Morgen.
Yeah, but that's one word. That's not a sentence.
Talon's rolling around Germany saying he's a bear and the boys eat fruit. Things are gonna go awry real quick.
Oh my god, no,
That's
just
a good
no. That's not what I was. Oh
Wow.
Slash offended.
So this is going south very quickly.
All of a sudden,
So really quick, one of these days, ask one of us about the coffee cleavage incident, and if you think this is funny, that's better. Oh my god!
Pre-shows are always awesome.
Yeah, what you guys
Cleavage,
don't see.
the way to show lore in a game.
Listen,
We've never seen that before.
there's a reason why we may be nerds. Just saying.
Well,
So, next topic, guys.
I think the next topic. Moving on.
Shall we go into the beta news? Well, that we've been talking about it so much, but obviously there's been a little bit of fallout over the prices because gamers, we already went over that they like to complain, and so SOE has announced their Landmark packages for Landmark, and that's $100 for the Trailblazer, which is guaranteed alpha access. There is the $60 Settler package, and then the $20 Explorer, or maybe I have those mixed up. But of course, if you've been following along with the show and you're interested in that stuff, it's on the EverQuestNext.com website.
Yeah. You go ahead. You go first.
I'm just going to pose this question to the host, and feel free to answer in the Twitch channel. What has been the most that you've spent on a deluxe or collector's edition of an MMO that had a guarantee for a beta invite? Because I've done it twice, one for Guild Wars 2 and one for Rifts. And
I paid $80 for a game I played a week.
What game's that?
War C, or better known as Infestation War Stories. But that's like the worst example, because that game actually
Wow, you paid
failed.
for that?
Yeah, I paid for that.
Wow, I'm so disappointed in you.
They said it was fun. I was tricked.
So when you hit level 6 and when you die, you start losing XP in EverQuest 1? You just de-leveled, sir. I'm sorry. We don't have a sound effect, but that was a de-level.
Okay.
Honestly, I paid like near $100 for Age of Conan. but that was
100.
a beta access,
So
I don't
there's
think.
80 and 100 in Kai.
Oh,
So technically, it wasn't an alpha; it was a beta. But it was 180 to get into the beta.
Woo!
For which game?
Mists of Pandaria.
Oh,
Mm.
and I think that's because you're going
Wait,
with the.
I get
The-
the leveled for Infestation War Stories, but
Yes, because because you already had.
So
No.
at this point, like I have been playing World of Warcraft for 5 years, and he did so know. I don't know why he's acting like he didn't understand that. So there was a point before Mists of Pandaria came out that if you signed up for a year of membership, they guaranteed a very specific mount to you.
Oh, but
which
that's
was Tyrael's
different,
mount,
though.
So it looks like Tyrael, and you were guaranteed beta access. I signed up for the year, not because I wanted to play for a year, but because I wanted that pretty ass mount and I wanted beta access to pandas. And it
Yeah.
was the most wretched, awful, disgusting experience I've ever had, because even in beta, it was so buggy and completely unplayable that I think I played maybe 20 minutes on 2 or 3 different occasions. Couldn't even get out of the first 2 quests with the pandas because there were so many
Wow.
people like just camping on top of quest givers.
True.
So Flatus,
Yeah,
how
that
about
was-
you?
Well,
if I go technically go the same route, then it would be the Mists of Pandaria beta, because then I guaranteed myself. Other than that, I would say the only I've bought. Listen, I have tons of collector's editions over here, but I think the one that I think stuck with just kind of hurt the most on the inside of me, in my heart, in the cockles of my heart, was Warhammer Online. I got
no.
yeah, that one.
Who was
one
that
took a
PR
hit.
guy, man? He was great.
That was
what? The PR
Did
guy?
you really
The
say
PR guy?
the cockles of my heart?
Yeah, just because
That guy?
I really think Warhammer, like as a franchise, is really cool. I like that there's like this, even with the Warhammer 40K stuff, there's like that steampunk versus like old school mentality. Even the old Warhammer stuff is cool with the orcs, like everything is like very specific, and they all different. They are like all the different factions. There's tons of factions and stuff, and I love it. But the game just.
Well, I'll be the one to say that you suck at making MMOs and video games. They have an awesome franchise, they have an awesome IP, but I'm sorry, they just cannot make video games. They can hype
I
it,
agree
but
with
they
you.
just
No, it's
I
like,
agree with you.
and the worst thing is every time I'm excited, but I think we're deviating a little bit from the point though.
No. And the point I was just trying to make is that we've all, like, for the good and for the bad, we've all invested large-ish amounts of money to get a game that came with a
True.
invite for the beta, and so
People
I
are
don't
paying
feel
a
that,
lot.
and I don't feel that this is any different or any left. I think
Well,
that I think that because of the collector's items that come with it, they will pay themselves off over time, especially the longer you play. And if those tools are better than the ones that you get on a standard account or just starting the game.
like
But that's only tier 1, right?
There's-
So there's still things that are better. You'll still outgrow it. That's the only thing. I bought EverQuest 2 pre-ordered, and I got my Journeyman boots. It was fast for a while, but then there was no need for it after that. And it's like, to what point do these items actually matter in the long run? Is it really worth it? Why am I paying to beta a game? Or does the game even need to really be betaed that much if there's no real testing other than people buying it and then, like, temporary time play keys that they give out to people? That's the thing that bugs me a little bit. PlanetSide 2, when I bought their Founders Pack, I got a straight station cash conversion. So it was $40 for the pack. They gave you 4,000 station cash right on the fly. You could spend it in their other games. They're not losing any money off that deal. It really secured the purchase for me. I wasn't just paying for... Well, yeah, I was. I was still paying for digital merchandise, but it had more of a value to me than just an item by itself. And I was really hoping for that with this, and I don't know why they didn't do it at all. Maybe because it's worldwide that they're dealing with this. I don't know. I'll let you guys jump in.
It's possible, Chewy, that the reason that they're not offering station cash as something to purchase with this is maybe it's not going to be there at launch.
I honestly think they're not gonna be tying it to station cast, because that's gonna make the entire selling your property and items over a separate market extremely difficult. Because as soon as they tie that to station cast, you're
Well, they
that's
said
not gonna work.
They said they're running all the transactions for Player Studio, so it
Yep.
won't be Pro7 7, SAT 7, whatever PSS
Yeah, but
something.
that still doesn't mean
Um,
it will be station
It'll-
cast, though.
I'm pretty sure it'll all be station cash.
I don't think so.
They really like their one monetary fund. I don't know,
But-
but it's a possibility, I guess.
I think like the thing I dislike of the entire like I'm paying for beta discussion is that all the independent developers are doing it at the moment. Like
Yeah.
all smaller companies are doing it at the moment. Now, no one has an issue with that. If you're an independent developer, like people throw money. Well, okay, that's not entirely fair as well. But people are gladly.
How much has Star Citizen
Spent-
raised?
Well, the Star Citizen. Okay, no, let's not talk about that. I don't want
Well,
to talk about
I'd
that.
like to.
But
Oh,
no,
what- 'cause it
I
goes
don't
at
want to
risk,
talk
right?
about the money I.
What about Richard
No.
Garriott's new MMO? I mean,
Yeah. See, the
that's
thing is,
even-
okay, this is why I'm okay with them selling this little pack, because it's Sony. It's Sony Online. They've been around for a lot of years. They put out a lot of products, and they've stuck by it.
But
It's not worrisome.
my
for
point
me,
is,
you know? I
why
don't have to
is
worry
it
about
different when Sony does it to any other company?
It looks
because they're
greedy.
big, because they
Yeah,
have
because they
a
already
bunch
have,
of successful
their
MMOs.
investors or whatever. I mean, I guess Sony's private, but it still gets money.
Money is money, right? Like,
Yeah,
I don't
well,
really.
that's how people look
you,
at it, though. They
you
think
still
of it
get
as,
a
like,
game.
supporting your local business versus going to Macy's. You know, if Macy's sold you something for a pre-order versus a local business, I don't know.
Like, a lot of gamers like say double standards, but I think like this is double standards. Like,
Yeah.
people are perfectly
It is.
fine paying for one thing, but they're not fine for paying for another, and that's I think not really fair.
See, I'm the opposite. I really worry about a game like Star Citizen or something. I was talking to Tanlin a while ago. You know, when's the last game that since that got made? Wing Commander, right? That was
Maybe
back
we
in
should cut that to the after show, though,
1990
because
what?
that's a
Maybe
pretty
we can
big
come by and
discussion.
come back
It is
because
big. I mean,
well,
we're out of
it's-
time anyways for the first
right,
show.
because I tweeted out something that was like it tracks all the MMOs that are crowdfunded. But yeah, that's a huge topic and something that I could really go into on depth. Is that it? We're gonna wrap it up and take a break and come back in like 10 minutes.
Yeah, is it cool if I introduce our new segment that we're
That
going
would
to be
be
showing?
awesome. You can introduce our new segment.
Awesome.
Oh.
Oh, I mean, or Kai Les can.
or not.
No, I mean, no, go ahead, Kai, if you want to introduce it.
But it Clan Drummonds unites.
Oh my
Okay.
gosh. Go ahead.
No, so we're actually from like the same Scottish family. I don't know if we're like literally related.
We should say who it
but
is first.
He is a Drummond and I am a Drummond, so damn it, I get to introduce my Scottish kin.
All right.
So Tobrin has done this really kick-ass video for us, and we're going to be airing videos in between our normal hour and then our after hours.
Oh, that's not. You gotta say more than that. So we felt that with covering the news and our commentary, we were able to get a lot of news out. But at the same time, we really wanted this podcast to be about the community. We wanted to connect players to the game they play and the community at large. So we contacted Tober, and he's fantastic. He's been working with us, and we're gonna try and put out a segment every episode. We're looking at maybe doing some other videos with some other people as well. But basically, this one's going to capture the rundown of the community, or at least some of the bigger aspects of what might be going on Reddit or on a site that not everyone might be interested in to actually travel in. They will be interested to watch it, I promise, but maybe not to log on to the forum and read through all the posts. So here we go, our first segment with Tobrin. We don't have a name yet. Maybe we'll do a contest for it. And
Hey
we'll see
everyone,
what guys
how's it
can do with
going?
that.
My name is Tobran Irwity. You probably weren't expecting to see me here. So there's a break going on right now. Don't know if you maybe noticed, but they're off to go poop. So I'm here to entertain you. Yeah, you're probably gonna have to poop, but we'll do this anyway. Yeah. So this is a new show we're doing called Around the Net, where we just take everything the community's talking about, maybe something you might have posted yourself, and we'll just discuss it, talk about it, give it a brief overview, and then talk about a few other things as well. So let's begin. Alright, the first topic we're going to talk about is a big thread I saw on the EQ Nexus fan page. Now, it's huge, it's been going on for a while, and there's just some really good ideas in there. Just asking people what is the first thing they are going to build in EverQuest Next Landmark. Now, you've got everything on there ranging from dwarven taverns, cottages, like temples for gods and stuff. It's just like, whoa, everyone has really good ideas in here. And for me, I just want to build a simple tavern. That's all I want to do. And hell, I even went on to Minecraft and made it. Like, I think I won a contest on here a few weeks back. You probably saw that. Yeah, but most people have the same idea. You know, just get an idea of what they really want and then build like a plan of what they could do. Loads of people are doing that, which is really awesome. So, loving seeing that. Alright, the next topic was on the EQN forum page. So they were talking about forced quest lines. Now, when we think about MMOs and RPGs, you think it's really the player's action to go out and change things and do things. But most traditional MMOs like Warcraft, you go out and you follow a set storyline. You don't really do much to change it yourself, and you know, if you don't accept that quest, then you can't have access to other quests. It just makes things hard and awkward to level. So hopefully they were saying, like, in that, you know, hopefully we'll be able to change the world around us doing these quests and stuff. And I thought, that's pretty cool. You know, Guilders 2 tried to do a system like this with the dynamic events, but to be honest, this changes you make just aren't permanent enough, and they're kind of unrewarding. And they tried, they get a little "you tried" sticker, but if Guilders 2, if EverQuest Next can do better, I will be highly impressed. The final topic should be an enjoyable one, I would hope. So Project 99, before we get into this, 1999 is where you can play the original EverQuest, like before it got updated and changed, like the original, like the original, before everything got changed. Me and Lock6 Time tried it. It's hard. It's really hard. I know people like compare this to like the golden age of MMOs, but honestly, when we were in there, it was really hard, quite confusing, but as long as you have someone to do it with, it's the most enjoyable experience you will ever have. So go check out that video, there's a link somewhere on the screen, go click that, it'll be fun. Alright guys, so the hosts are probably back by now, I hope they are, holy crap, that must be like a massive shite. But yeah, let me know if you guys want to see this in the future, because you know, it's better than just staring at an awkward blank screen and you're just sitting there like, yeah, so just let you go off and do your own thing, like poop. I'm obsessed with poop. Alright guys, well, until I see you again next time.